So good morning everybody and welcome back. It's a Sunday morning and not the best Sunday morning, to be honest with you. It's just gone to 10:30 there in the morning and this is the second time I've been over here today, but I just decided I'd come back. The first time I didn't record it because I was a bit annoyed and I was a bit on the pressure as well and I didn't record, but I decided I wanted to come back here and show you what kind of the issue we had this morning, one of our heifers. So this morning I came over here, I was over pretty early. I normally look my heifers fairly early, and then after milking I would tip over here and look them again. Just throw my eye across the hedge at them and make sure that they're okay and everything's alright. One thing I mentioned before in videos is I check my heifers' elders. They're all starting to make little bags now and they're getting to that stage where you just have to be careful. A thing called dry mastitis. Now all farmers know exactly what I'm talking about, but for the guys that are from the non-farming background, I just want to kind of explain to you what it is in simple terms, not getting too complicated about it. But a milking cow can get mastitis very easily, and we've seen that several times, usually depending on the type of it and sometimes the time of year. We usually be able to cure it fairly quickly, a couple of tubes, maybe a little bit of penicillin or antibiotics if needed, and the thing would be cured fairly quickly. But a milking cow is able to push that out of her system because she's obviously supplying milk. The milk itself is actually helping to push all that bacteria out of the quarter. The problem here is these animals aren't producing any milk. They're dry heifers and they're just starting to spring up, as we call it, making little bits of elders for them when they do calve in January. They're slightly starting to make little elders. We do treat our heifers to kind of protect them against flies, and we use a pour-on as one of the things I find really great. Garlic bucket is another thing that helps really well, but I found that the pour-on itself done the best job. Now if you can look at our heifers here, it's a bit early in the morning, okay, but there's lots of flies on our cows at the minute and there's no flies, as you can see, on our heifers, and relatively they're like this all the time. My father only actually mentioned to me back about a week ago that he noticed no flies on the heifers, and this would be a place that you'd have a lot of flies. But one place flies do like to hang about is in underneath the heifer's legs, on the end of their teats, and that's just the simple fact of it. Now unfortunately with that is they carry bacteria. Flies will carry bacteria and bacteria can get in, and when the bacteria gets in, mastitis starts, and that's the whole cycle. And this heifer 920 has picked it up. We had her in this morning in the chute, and unfortunately it's exactly what it is. If you look at her elder underneath here, you can see the quarter on this side. It's way too big for what it should be now at this time of the year. Like, it shouldn't be up like that. She's not sick, which is great, but she has that little bit of pain when she's walking, and I can see it there now as she's walking by. She's nice and full, but I can see it. But treatment wise, well, fortunately with dry mastitis, it's not something that's easy cured. That's the problem. Thankfully, in the history of the farm, we've only ever had about 3 or 4 heifers ever took it, and that's been spanned over a long period of time. Loads of people I know has had loads of hits with heifers. It happens. It's just very disappointing. Now, one thing I have to watch is she doesn't get sick. It can develop into a thing we call felon, and into her bloodstream, down her legs, and it can kill her. And it's as simple as that. It can kill her when it gets to that stage. She's not at that stage. She's nowhere near it. She's not sick. She's eating. So we're just going to have to watch her. So what I did was I put her into the crush this morning. The kids helped me, and we have tubed her. But we have to be careful again what we give her, because she's heavily in calf. She's due around the 20th of January, so we have to be really careful that we don't give her something, because a lot of the antibiotics now you give will pick calf, will encourage her to throw the calf from her, it will kill the calf. So we have to be really careful what we give. So we have pulled it out and tubed it, and we will be pulling it out several times over the next couple of days, just to try and get it out of the system, and hopefully it might heal up. I don't think it will. But that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to actually take her home today and treat her as needed. It's just unfortunate. Now, before anyone says anything in the comment section, there are other treatments you can use to try to prevent that, and Stockholm tar would be one of them. Putting tar basically onto the animal's teats. A lot of people do that, not everybody, because it's very inconvenient putting heifers in every, well, few days, week maybe, as you need it basically, and put it on. We used to do it years ago, but we don't get enough of it, enough problems with it to really justify doing that the whole way through the summer, because a lot of the time I'm on my own and it's not easy, especially when you're here in a paddock. This is the furthest paddock away. They have to nearly go out on the road, get to the crush, and I'd always need someone to help me. And sometimes, most of the time when kids go back to school, I'm on my own, so it's not always easy to do that. But yes, Stockholm Tower, I do know about that, and there's very little I haven't seen at this stage, but it's just a disappointment. But look, I just thought I'd show you. I don't have to show you those things on the channel, but everything's not always rosy, and I think it's important to show that, because it happens on a lot of farms, and no farm is perfect. You'll always get these things, but hopefully if she is okay, which she will be, I'm pretty sure she will be, and if everything goes all right, the last one that we had, she's in the parlour milking away. She's only got 3/4, but she gives as much as any other animal. Worst case scenario, she loses the quarter and nothing more. So I just wanted to show you that before I move on to our calves here. Very disappointed. Things like that would annoy me more than anything else, but that's just part of the farming. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to go over here now and get these calves fed. So anyway, on a better note, the calves, they're doing really well. Ever since that little bit of summer scour syndrome that they had, they've bounced out of it, and they're all growing, have a nice colour, nice black shiny colour to them, and yeah, happy with them. Anyway, the real reason you came to watch this video wasn't about the issue with the heifer, or probably wasn't about the calves. Well, to some people, I always like to slip in the animals, because the animals are the most important thing on the farm above anything else. But I know you just want to see the new bit of kit that we got. It's only a small bit of kit, and a lot of people were guessing everything from new quad, nope, definitely not. New baler, definitely not. We've no plans to get a baler, and that's just the truth. No long-term plans to get a baler. We just were talking out loud that time about possibilities down the line, but it's definitely way down the line if it ever happens. But 3 people, I think there was 3 people in the comment section in that video guessed it right. So without further ado, let's get into that part of the video. So here we're on the road, and we're picking up, just as the thumbnail said, we're picking up something new. Not really something I had planned to get. Well, it was in my mind alright, at the same time it just wasn't planned to get it that last day that I was up here. But moral of the story is, I was up here picking up a part. Here is Martin's garage. It's one of the Massey dealers just beside me here, about 15 minutes from my house. And I was up getting the lever for the quickie loader, the little yellow lever you move back and forth, and it was actually ordering that hadn't in stock. But when I was going out, I just threw my eye around the yard, which is probably a bad thing at times, but I seen this little item stuck in the corner, and I had been thinking of getting one of these. Quite hard to get at the minute, because machinery is just so hard to get your hands on, new machinery. It's either out of stock or manufacturer problems or whatever, but it was in stock. It's there. It's last year's stock as well, so it was a little bit cheaper than what prices currently are. So that was good as well. So we're just on our way up now to pick it up. So we'll pick it up there. I might get a look at a couple of Massies when we're there. Sorry, my battery just died there. I'm using my phone now. What have we got? A 5S135. Let's zoom out. Yeah, that's better. 5S155. We're getting into the bigger stuff here now. 7S180. Damn fine tractor. I noticed the only thing in the Massey is they didn't upgrade to LED lights, so I often wonder why they never done that. Even on the work lamps. This day and age, I would have thought they would have went to LED. Oh, she's open, and she's sold as well, I see. Well, first thing I can tell you straight away is this is a giant of a cab. Absolutely huge. I'd imagine a tillage man would love this tractor because you can just see everything around what you're doing. Great visibility. And the bonnet. Personally, I like the bonnet I have my own over this one. That's just a personal choice. I don't like the grills that are on the front. Up down the front, I think it spoils the whole look of that red bonnet. That's just personal thing. That would be me. I just not dying about that. But look at the size of the mudguards. I think the camera doesn't do it justice. Them mudguards must be 2.5 feet wide. A monster of a tractor, but at the same time being a big tractor. Good visibility. You're not away back that you can't see the back arms. You've got great visibility straight down the back, so it doesn't feel that big. Like it's
a monster of a tractor by no means, get me wrong, but it doesn't feel... It's compact at the same time. You're very high up. You're looking down at the wee... What is that? Is it 5S? It's down below me. Looks like a wee tie below it, but... Still, another thing I like is them mirrors. 2-directional mirrors, which I think they're a great job. I've seen them on other tractors before, and probably big money, but if I could get a set of them, maybe someday I might put a set on the 7.6. Yeah, unique machine now. Can't tell you much about it because I know nothing about it. What's this in here? Oh, it's a passenger seat. Coffee cup holder. Yeah, I wouldn't buy it if it didn't have a coffee cup holder now, in fairness. Yeah, plenty of storage. Is there a fridge? Fuse box, probably. No fridge. No, there probably is somewhere. Oh, must be fuses. Jesus, I definitely wouldn't want to be getting in there. There's definitely plenty of fuses in these. Jesus, the door's an awful height. Jesus, the height of that tractor. Even the 939 Fendt that my contractor has looks small compared to sitting beside this thing. It's just shocking high up. And the Fendt's 400 horsepower, like, and this is what? 265, is that right? Is that the way it's done in the 8S? 265? Yeah. Fine machine. Fine machine. So, who guessed it right? 3 people I see in the comment section of our last video definitely guessed it right. I haven't got a chance to look through the stuff I got privately on Instagram and Facebook, but yes, this is what we got. Now, if you look, the first thing you're going to see is it's exactly the same one as what we had. And there's a very good reason for that. Now, before we go into detail on it, I'm no way sponsored in any shape or form by either Johnson's, Martin's, anybody. Because I bought this completely with my own money at full retail price. I've never spoken to anybody who works in Johnson's ever in my entire life, so this is just a purchase like you would purchase yourself. So why did I decide to go with just a new one again? Well, it's very, very simple. Every 10 years or so, I change my shear grab. I've mentioned that before on the channel. Now this one here used to be on the mask grab that we had. If you watch our channel from the very beginning, you remember that. And when I got the loader put on the case, I bought this thing. You can still see the price on it, €75 still on it. I bought that Euro bracket. I welded it on myself. Now, you look at the welds, nothing cracked. You guys that love your welds, nothing cracked. So my welds have held out and it has been serving me really, really well. I'd say that's about 13 years, 14 years old now. And look at, you'll get the wear and tear from it surely. The rams themselves are absolutely fine. There's no oil leaks on it. But the pipes, look, they're starting to show wear on the pipes just from rubbing back and forth. And the pins is fine. I replaced a new pin on it last year, and the rest of them are original. 2 of them were tacked just with a bit of weld. This one and this one, actually 3 of them were tacked just to stop them turning. But the bushings inside aren't worn. It's just the threads. Didn't tighten them up. It's one thing you should always do, I suppose, with a shear grab, is tighten it as often as you can. And I didn't. Got loose, damaged the thread, so just tacked it. But you can cut that straight off, put a new pin on if you wanted, but it's fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So it's just to freshen it up. Now, some people might say, Adrian, but you not have went for a bigger one, maybe a different one. Very easy answer to that. 4'6" is what this one is and what this one is as well. It works extremely well for me, especially in that house behind you. It just getting it in, putting them side by side like I used to, even turn them around. I wouldn't want any bigger. It just works extremely well. Very, very handy, so I have no reason to go any bigger. I was offered a demo on a shear grab. It was actually a quickie shear grab for this winter. I would have had it for maybe a couple of weeks. And I was more or less going to do that, but then the more I thought about it, quickie is great. Much stronger than this. No doubt about it. When you see it in person, much stronger than this. But much, much more expensive. I'd be demoing it, yes, to show you guys, but I'd never buy it. And that's just the simple fact of it. So I just thought to myself, why would I bother with something I'm not that terribly interested in, because I wouldn't be buying it. So look, a shear grab is a shear grab. If it cuts right, that's all you wanted to do and last the test of time. And that's why I decided just go and buy my own. Look, at the Johnson grab would be probably one of the cheapest ones out there. In the entire time that we've had that one, which was 13 years, and we had the one before that for about the same, neither of them have ever cracked, neither of them have ever broken, neither of them have ever given any trouble with the rams or anything. So that is enough to sell me another one of them, and I have no reason to buy anything heavier or anything more expensive. That kind of sold it to me. So as I say, there's nothing really to show you on it much. It's just identical to what's sitting here beside it, but I wanted to put the two of them side by side so you can see that for yourself. This one's in perfect condition, perfect working condition. Yes, it needs a good power washing and it needs a drop of paint, but when that's painted, you can see yourself the blades and all are straight and they're all original. Nothing has been welded, nothing has been hammered or cracked. It's exactly the way it was the day I got it. I'm going to be putting that for sale now, and it'll go on to a new home. I just have to figure out how much it's worth. If anybody wants a shear grab, knows that it's good. Anyone who watches me, you'll know one thing: you never probably see me working on this because it hasn't given me any bother. Look at what's to go wrong on it. If you're seriously interested in it, look, send me an email. Don't bother messaging me on Instagram, because sometimes it just floods my mind, the amount of messages you can get, and it's very hard to get back to them all. So if you want to send me an email, my email is on our website. Just if you're close by. I was going to leave it up in Martin's, let them sell it on my behalf. I might still do that, but it's going to be here for a few days. So if you're interested, and I'm sure we can work something out, and it'll not be outrageous, put it that way. We are looking out for a couple of things. A bale trailer is probably something a lot of you did mention. It's probably something we will look at sometime down the line. An old bale trailer, we get something cheap and cheerful that will take our bales home from the far farm, because we take them home in the 7.6 at the minute in the double bale lifter. If we could get a bale trailer, probably bring home 8 at a time, just stick it on the back of the 54, it'd be extremely handy, because we do use bales here first before cows calve, and we draw home a right few from the other farm, which isn't far away, but we might look at a bale trailer. Another thing I will look at is something to actually maybe replace our bale splitter. You might have watched a couple of the videos where I said I was managing great with the shear grab over in the other farm, because it was already on the front of the tractor. I didn't have to take off the back weight, I didn't have to go over the back weight to put on the bale splitter, and I didn't have to touch the 7.6 with the hedge cutter normally on it that time of year. I was fit to dish out the bale with the shear grab, and it worked really well. And I found last year was the first year I didn't use it near as much. Now in that shed, the bale splitter is great because the bale falls both sides, which is extremely handy, but you have to jump on and jump off and jump on and jump off, take the wrap off and the net off. And I had a couple of things in my head, but maybe putting Euro brackets on my bale splitter and using it on the front loader, which would be really handy, but it's quite long. That's the only thing, in a small yard like this would make it very, very long. I did see when I was picking up this, I can't remember the brand of it, it was this yoke that looked like this, and it was half the teeth. It didn't come down the whole way. It was kind of a smaller front that was on it, and it had these hooks, which I thought was a great idea, that were on a ram. It flips across, it grabs the net, takes plastic and all off in one go. The handiness of having attachments on the front of the tractor is great, because you just hook on, away you go. It's just so much quicker, and it's so much easier to use as well. So that's why I'm just thinking at the minute, just try a couple of them first, because I genuinely would consider buying one if it worked better than my bale splitter. I'll try all my local dealerships and see what I can get and different options there is, and I'll demo a few things out first. No harm, maybe get something for a couple of weeks and get something else for a couple of weeks and do that and see what happens. And I'm just thinking out loud here. You can throw your suggestions in the comment box below and tell me what you're using, how you find it. Anyway folks, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and until the next one, talk to you again.